5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Take a breath. Let's dive in. I think that human beings are social creatures. Now, we've been told this time and time again, and we don't realize the power of a conversation. It always amazes me how much we have in common with complete strangers, and how, so many people have similar stories, or how, maybe they have incidents that are, the same that has occurred to them at different points in life. And you get to bounce, off ideas with each other. Or if you're a creative, how you can get more inspired by just listening to the conversation of other people. I think that's a human experience that really helps us grow, because growth doesn't just come from us, right? Growth comes from the situations that we deal with and the information that we have to process. And so by communicating with other people, we learn to kind of, get a learning curve for different, situations, because we now have knowledge of how to tackle, some of life's, struggles or major decision making, things. The power of a conversation can reveal who you are as a person. Maybe you thought that you were a very understanding person, and then someone reveals to you that maybe you're a little on the ignorant side. Or maybe you thought that, you were a very polite person until someone had vastly different values than you did. And that also reveals a little bit more about you as a person. So it's very important to have conversations with people, because that's kind of how we grow. And the moment that we stop talking to each other is the moment where we lose each other, and we can no longer see the viewpoints of other people, and we become a less tolerant society. So maybe you just say hello to a person here or there. Say good morning, good evening, goodbye, and say how are you doing to your neighbor. Because the less we communicate, the less chance we have of reaching each other. As you get older, you realize that these connections, these human connections, are vital to our just survival. People who tend to have fewer connections go through depression, they get sick easier, they have weaker immune systems. But people who have greater and stronger social connections, those are the people who thrive in society. Even the workaholic high performer that kills themselves by, just outworking everyone else or what have you, or they're narrow-minded and narrow-focused and what have you, that person networks. That person has other people who believe in the same views as they do, that help push them forward. Because someone probably told them, like, listen, if you want to get to here, this is what you have to do to get to there. You have to put in the work. But imagine if someone didn't tell a lot of us that you need to put in this body of work to get this result. Where would we be? So again, this is the power of conversation. I always loved my wrestling coach. My wrestling coach would tell me the most amazing things. To this day, I think that Coach Tony is one of the greatest human beings that's ever lived. A selfless, kind human being that had a very unique way of communicating. There were days where he'd be like, "Hey, Oakley," like, "What's up, coach?" Still call him coach to this day. He's like, "How you doing, asshole?" I'm like, "What?" He's like, "Make sure you're getting some rest." I'm like, "Okay, it's he's random. I'm an adult now, and my wrestling coach is telling me to get rest. All right, okay. All right, I guess I need to get some rest." But that's important, right? Like, just being able to talk to another human being and they're able to just tell you something like that. and you know it's coming from a place of love. Not many people have that, but it starts from somewhere with a simple hello. All relationships start somewhere. Your enemy doesn't start out as your enemy. It's something had to incite that. So when you're going through life, know that you can either go through life alone and miserable, or you could go through life having strong connections. And it doesn't mean that you're not going to get it wrong sometimes. Sometimes you're going to choose the wrong person to date. You're going to choose the wrong person to be your friend. You're going to choose the wrong person to fall in love with. It's all a part of the journey of life. So don't get too caught up in the things that might happen and focus on the possibility of the things that can happen. You have to open yourself up. Sure, by doing so, there's a potential of getting hurt in the process, but that is also a part of life. You have to learn what doesn't work for you so you can understand what does work for you. So the next time you see someone, learn to say hello, good morning, how do you do, and goodbye. Society, we have to get back to the basics. We need more Coach Tonys of the world. We need more Zach Demopoulos of the world that are truly just advocates for humanity, and they're seeing the storm to come. They're looking past the right now, and they're able to see what is coming down the line. For example, with Zach, he's just such a stand-up guy, one of the best human beings that I've had the pleasure of encountering. His work, and just talking about being a selfless human being, his work, has been such an eye-opening experience for me as well, when it came to, caregiving, advocacy, and just to see what he's doing and the things that he's bringing to light in our society that we take for granted and we don't see, especially in the corporate world. That caregivers, just the light that he's shedding, that a lot of caregivers don't even realize that they're caregivers. And again, that starts with a conversation. So the conversations are important to society. So we have to get back to the basics of just saying hello and good morning and to each other. That is so crucial. Because if we're not communicating, then we're not moving forward, both as people and as a society. So I just want to say thank you to Zach for shedding, light on a lot of things that I was not aware of, and that's even impacted me in how I view myself in a positive light. So if we don't say hello to each other, then what are we doing? How are we going to become better? So I say to you, challenge yourself to say hi more to people. Be the light in not only your day, but in another person's day. Get back to saying hello. One of the things that I've come to understand is that life is very simple, but people make it complex. Remember when we were children, and this is going to not be a generational thing that everyone can understand, but when I was growing up, as a 90s baby, I understood something quite simple. If I wanted to be friends with someone, it was very, very simple. Hey, you like Dragon Ball Z? I like Dragon Ball Z. All right, we're friends. Hey, you like soccer? I like soccer. All right, we're friends. But just how easy that was. Some of those conversations that were meaningless at the time, or at least I thought they were, have created friendships that have lasted for the span of 2 decades now. And it literally started like, hey, you like anime? And to this day, we're still talking about anime. And life evolves. And we have so much to learn from each other. But we have to get in the habit of talking to each other more. I mean, having a real conversation with people in our lives. And you have to have a conversation with yourself as well. Like a real conversation, like as to who are you and who do you wish to be, and the impact that you want to leave on this world. I'm not saying that your goal has to be that you want to save the world, but I think you should think about what you want your impact to be on this world. What is your legacy going to be? I think that starts with the conversation. Maybe you should have that conversation with yourself. And I guess that's my 2 cents in this situation. But I sincerely hope that this conversation sparks something within you to just put yourself out there more, to learn more about yourself and those around you. And you may be surprised of the positive things that can come out of it. So, go forth and conquer, you magnificent ones. If you enjoyed today's content, please like and subscribe for more. Be free.